Helldiver, Chapter 9. Moving into some of the tricky areas of Dead Space 2, as we proc the double leaper fight right here, and I get a double kill somehow just then. That does not happen all the time, let me tell you that. I'm glad it happened though, because it makes the video look better. But be careful, because there's more. I think this could have been a really interesting sequence again. And you'll hear me say this a lot, but there are certain parts of Dead Space 2 that I think could have been a little bit longer. This whole foundry area here has got some cool architecture going on. It reminds me a little bit of Terminator 2, as weird as that might sound. And I'm all for that, so I would have loved to have seen a little bit more of this sequence, these lifts and this catwalk and all this heat. But it's quite short and bittersweet, but there's lots to be done, including slapping the faces of demonic babies with bin lids, essentially, or baby heads, or whatever you can really find. And every so often you get a little shafted here with physics and what you can grab. You can't quite do what needs to be done. You could keep one of those baby corpses, bring it into this room and do this fight if you wanted to. But this room has a ton of these coiled spikes to let you kill things with. And I'm not going to do it in the most efficient manner, because again, my lurker tendencies are wrong. But it doesn't matter because we're still effective. And then this room is really fun. So this is a scary room on hardcore, because if you put the window through, I died here I think on my hardcore run, or at least on one of my runs. And I'll never forget it for that. So you got to be really careful, because they're baiting you into using the explosive to try and shut this down, but if you do it, you'll easily get sucked out of the window. And instead, I'm playing with fire here, because if you stomp too close to those sacks, you'll detonate them and they'll kill you. But the strategy there, and the fun there for me, was doing that sequence without using the explosive. And then we get rid of the Guardian, then we take on the fiends waiting for us up here. And again, these sacks, guys, if you strategically take them to other places, you can do all kinds of cool things with them, because they're that good. But one thing I don't recommend doing with them is throwing them at a pregnant. Because in spite of the pregnant, and that sack being so strong, it somehow still births its offspring instead of killing them, which I think is really strange. And then up here this is really, 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 really awkward, this one. We have two enhanced slashers, and they're fighting a box, and the box is a frustrating opponent, but it turns out a very effective one too. It's like when you played Tekken when you were a kid against somebody younger than you, and all they did was spam a low sweep, and it just kept knocking you down, and you're like, damn it, this sweep is mad good, he must be cheating or something, or playing a better character than I am. I'm going to pick Eddie Gordo and mash buttons, and he's going to get bodied. And that's what's happening here. Just complete and utter control, and as soon as one loses a limb, they both die. That's Dead Space right there, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have another Stalker room, and I have quite an interesting strat for you here. So if you come into this room, you can pick up a capsule just there. You can fire it just there to freeze the guy with the explosive. That way we can take his arm, bring his explosive with us, and then come over here and kill the Guardian. Now the Guardian's dead, we can go through the door, and we can do this room in record time. And just make sure that the crawling guy doesn't interrupt you, and that's the end of that sequence. And now we get to take on some more improvised explosives. Which, just a show of hands, guys, you know, if I'd have removed these from the project, would you have missed them? Because all I'm going to really do in these moments is either shoot things at them or catch their explosive. And I'm trying to show you here the radius of what makes it spit. And when it spits, you can catch it, and you can fire it at its friend. I feel like this is a redundant sequence in a no damage run, because you can't get to the rest of the game if you don't no damage this corridor. Because right now, on an unupgraded rig, Isaac cannot take a hit from this creature. So if I mess this up at all, the game ends. And unless I'm doing single segment, or something of that nature, it doesn't really matter, does it? And that's an interesting question when it comes to segmented no damage runs. Like, is there any real need to leave some of the downtime in when the downtime is, like, vapid and empty? Probably not. And because YouTube right now favours the shorter videos, I hope that this format is more entertaining for you, and I hope you can sneak it in on the toilet at work or in the cafeteria after you've finished eating or something. Because making things easier to digest and more accessible is exactly what I should be doing right now. And we have a boss fight against a tripod, which I'm going to hoard some explosives and do this really quickly. And as soon as you fire one, it will spawn the tripod. And if you fire all those like that, you only need to shoot one more, I think it is, and you've won. Which is kind of insane. But bait the tripod to do his swing, move around him in a nice wide berth, and then fire one back over there. There's the swing, did you hear it? Pick up the bomb, fire the bomb, and I think that might be the end. No, we need one more. There we go, that's the end. Then all you have to do now is keep circling and run towards the elevator.